Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the Rundown with Jordan Brown. We have a very special guest here today, Miss Ivy Harrington. She is the Miss New Jersey USA of 2025. Ivy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for making this happen. I couldn't be more excited to talk to you.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. And before we get into my questions, I just wanted to give a background for everybody on who Ivy is. Like I stated, she is the Miss New Jersey USA of 2025. She is 30 years old, a native of New Jersey. She graduated from the illustrious, the National Treasure Morgan State University, where she played Division I basketball. She was the Miss Senior in her senior year, graduating in December of 2017. And she also studied journalism. So connected in a lot of ways we've got
Of course.
going. Yes, so I want to get into the rundown of who Ivy Harrington is
Mhm.
and also approaching the Miss USA pageant at the end of this month, October. So I wanted to get started by first asking you about that moment on April 6th, 2025, when you were crowned Miss New Jersey USA. What was that moment like for you, hearing your name called, getting the crown placed on your head? Please walk me through all of that.
I'm literally getting flashbacks of you asking that question. I can feel how my body felt on stage in that moment.
Mhm.
So I would call myself a repeat offender because I competed 4 times in the system. The
Right.
first time for the 2020 title, and then COVID happened. And then I took a gap year and competed again in 2022, placed top five, which was a really good improvement. I ended up aging out because at the time, the age limit was 28 and I wasn't eligible to compete anymore. So when they lifted that, I came back last year in 2024 and didn't win. And then this year was my year. So when you're standing up there, when it's just the last two girls, how they do it in my state is they call the first runner up
Right.
before they call the winner. So the only thing I'm saying to myself is, I just don't want to hear the first letter of my name. Do not say, I was listening for the first letter and the syllable of the other girl's name.
Mhm.
And when I heard the MC start to pronounce her name, you can see if you ever have the chance to look at the photos,
I
every
did. You were like
emotion,
shaking.
literally, I was like, I could not believe that after all this time, it finally happened. It was a 6 year, 4 time journey. And every emotion I just went through, I felt like I won a championship basketball game. Like
Mm.
you can see, like in some of the footage, I'm literally like fist pumping in the air and I'm just
Yeah.
excited. I'm hyped up and just overwhelmed with gratitude and emotion. So literally a roller coaster of feelings.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking that your story is truly one of resilience, one would say. Like you said, you started
Yeah.
in 2020, then you placed top five, 2022, 2024, and then this was your year. This was the year for you.
Yes.
I wanted to know like what each feeling, like the end of each pageant felt like for you. Like you didn't exactly get the title that you wanted, but each
Mhm.
year was a little progress. Like you said, you placed top
Yeah.
five, the age restriction was lifted, you were able to come back. So can you walk me through like what kept you going in that time of resilience?
Absolutely. So I decided to compete in pageantry kind of on a whim. When I was in college on campus at Morgan, I was flipping through the channels one night and I just caught the tail end of the 2016 Miss USA competition. District of Columbia actually won that year. So I saw an African American woman
Mhm.
win and I was like, oh, that's cool. A year later, I catch the pageant again. It's a little bit sooner in the show. So District of Columbia wins a second time. So now I see two Black women who have won this prestigious title, and it just sparked my interest. And
Mhm.
when I embarked on pageantry, for me, it was just about networking. I said, somebody's going to be in the audience where they'll see me. I'll get an internship, I'll get a business card, something. And then when I just decided to lean more into the refinement of pageantry, that's when I fell in love with it. And that's why I competed over and over again. So the first time, like I said, I went into it with the mindset of I just want to network. I want to meet people from across the state. I want to see, people in different facets of this world and communicate with them. And it was an especially interesting time for me because I was navigating grieving the loss of my father at that time. I lost him in September of 2019. And then 2 months later in November, I was on stage competing for the pageant.
Wow.
So for me, it really was a constructive outlet to pour just the boatload of emotions into. And
Hmm.
I think that's why I have such an attachment and a special connection to pageantry, because when I felt like I lost everything, it gave me something to strive for. It gave me something to have like an optimistic outlook on. So the first time it really was just like a wow, I'm glad I had that safe space. The second time when I came back, I felt that competitive edge kick in a little bit more. So I said, you know what? I know what I'm capable of. I know I can place. Let me put in a little bit of extra work. Let me hire more coaches and a fitness consultant and just really focus in on honing in on my brand just
Hmm.
to see what I can do. And the results paid off. So once I placed top five, then it was just like foot on the gas. I was like, if I can place top five, then I can win. And
Mm.
that's when I went full throttle with just having the hunger, um, and just the ambition of this is my intention. This is how I want this to pan out. So whatever I have to do along the way,
Mhm.
those are the steps I'm going to take. So the competitive edge and just understanding that I am being refined throughout the process and coming out on the other side, just a better person. That's what really made me fall in love with pageantry and maybe kept going.
Awesome, awesome. And I know that a lot of things have led you to this moment, especially as you gear up for the Miss USA pageant in a few
Yeah.
weeks. I wanted to ask you more specifically about your experience at Morgan,
Yeah.
HBCU in Baltimore, Maryland. How would you say that your time on the basketball team and the journalism program, being in the Royal Court for Miss Senior, how would you say all of those experiences that you had at Morgan prepared you for this moment?
Without a doubt, it instilled in me the importance of being able to balance and maintain different things that you're involved in, and not letting anything suffer or kind of lack. So being a student athlete, that was my first priority, balancing my grades and just making sure I was performing well in the court. But I was always raised to just diversify my interests. I was also the student athlete advisory committee president on campus too when I was there. So making sure that I had my hand in different pots, but I knew how to maintain that and still have the good balancing act of rising to the occasion and everything that I was involved in. Being an athlete in general has just given me such a, like I said before, a competitive edge. And it's helped my work ethic in ways that I cannot even describe. I
Mhm.
know what I have to sacrifice when it comes to things that I'm interested in. And I know how much goes into making sure that you put your best foot forward when you decide to commit to something. So that's what I got from sports and just being on the basketball team. And it really did pay off in just other areas in my life, personally and professionally now as a title holder.
Yes, and I also wanted to know about your most valuable pivot youth program that you have
Yeah.
running. As a basketball player, you designed this workshop to help young women pivot from their sport of their choosing to find an identity outside of that sport. Most of them probably played the sport their entire lives and just trying to find like what would be for them after that sport. Can you walk me a little bit through what your pivot was like once you finished playing at Morgan? And how your personal experience impacted you wanting to help young women that went through the same thing?
Absolutely. MVP truly is a byproduct of my own personal experiences as a former collegiate athlete and just navigating the real world once my jersey was no longer in my locker. For me, my pivot honestly was when I saw the Miss USA competition in college on Morgan's campus on TV. And then I realized there's so many other things that I can do outside of athletics, and there's so much life ahead of me.
Mhm.
And that's one of the fundamental principles that I want female student athletes of all age ranges to know, whether you're in elementary school doing Biddy or Pop Warner, all the way up to when you do finish, whether it's playing collegiate or professional. There are so many things that are waiting for you to just attach yourself to. And there are so many interests that we deserve to at least give a try.
Mhm.
For me, I tend to think that our identity can be so deeply rooted in A, performative success, and B, just aligning ourselves with something that's a little bit monolithic. So when you think of an athlete, that's all you sort of subscribe or that you think of them as. But
Mhm.
there are people who are talented in the arts, there are people who have other interests and hobbies and gifts. And for me, teaching female student athletes specifically to become the architects of their identity, that is the most rewarding and fulfilling thing because I want them to have the tools that they need to succeed both on the court or the field and in whatever facet of life they want to choose afterwards.
Awesome. And is this workshop, are you guys based in New Jersey?
Yes, we are based in
Okay.
New Jersey. I'm actually a middle school lacrosse and basketball coach. So I like piloted the program with them first.
Okay.
And then I go to other schools around New Jersey, like my hometown and just things like that. And really just working with like the younger groups because it's important for them to know those things early on. So that
Mhm.
way they can take it with them, whatever level they get to.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I also wanted to ask you about your time as Miss Senior at Morgan State back in
Yes.
2017, it was?
Yes.
Back in,
2017.
yes, your time as Miss Senior back in 2017 at Morgan State to now being Miss New Jersey USA in 2025. How would you say those experiences compare? They differ? What has it been like for you?
I think the responsibility and understanding that both roles are titles of service, first and foremost. I think that is the most similar thing that they have in common. But the difference between the two, I would say, is that it's just a bigger platform. It's a little bit more responsibility when you're representing the entire state, especially my home state. But being Miss Senior absolutely prepared me to be Miss New Jersey USA. And Morgan State University holds such a special place in my heart. It made me the woman that I am today. And
Mhm.
I kid you not, if I did not attend Morgan State, I wouldn't be Miss New Jersey USA. I can guarantee you that. Just the people that I met on campus, the experiences that I had, and the opportunities that shaped my character and just the way that I view myself, it's exactly why I have the confidence to just go forth and forge a path of teaching other female student athletes and other women to just hone in on who they are as a whole.
I wholeheartedly agree. Morgan and SGJC, those two
Yes,
make you who you are.
they do.
So I wanted to touch base, like as you're preparing for the Miss USA pageant in a few
Yes.
weeks. I wanted to know, like off the top of your head, what would you say are like five really strong pillars that are guiding you as you gear up for this experience?
The first one is absolutely faith. Um, as a woman of faith, like God has really sustained me, and everywhere that He's guided me, He has provided for me to excel in
Mm.
whatever I've chosen to do. And a prayer of mine is always, Lord, I just pray right now that the desires of my heart align with your plan. And everything that has happened in my life seems like it's in perfect alignment with his plan. So it's just really nice to know that I feel like I'm taking steps in the right direction. The second pillar, I would say confidence. You know, before you walk into a room and before you get on stage in front of people who are critiquing you, it's important to have a strong sense of confidence and an idea and an assurance of who you are as an individual. So that way, no matter what people say about you, whether it's to you or when you're not around, it doesn't matter. It doesn't waver who the essence of you really is. The third one, I would say a combination of self-regulating and being mindful of how to respond to things that are a little bit uncomfortable and just a little bit uncertain in life. No matter if you have a clear-cut plan or something that is mapped out perfectly, there are going to be outside factors that throw you off course and that really do at times shake your perception or even sometimes make your faith waver a little bit. So
Mhm.
just making sure that you have a resilient attitude and approach to every single thing that you do on a daily basis. What are we at? Three? We got two more.
Mhm.
Um, Something that I have to repeat to myself quite often is to not take myself too seriously. And I learned that when I was in college. I remember I was kind of in my head about the way that I was playing, and some of my teammates said to me, you have to relax. You have to relax because you're going to perform your best when you're not thinking so much.
Mhm.
And that is something that I apply to pageantry. That's something I apply to my professional work. When you are really just embracing the moment that you're in, it just allows you to free flow a little bit more and just understanding that there is life outside of whatever the chapter is right now. It kind of ties back into MVP, like having an identity outside of whatever you're connected to. I
Mhm.
have to have an identity outside of being a pageant title holder because there's so much more life to just what's happening in this 1 year reign. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but there's so much lifetime to continue to live. So just taking a chill pill, not taking myself too seriously. And the final pillar, having some people will call it audacity, some people will call it delusion, but to me, I just call it the truth. And I think being audacious in regards to your dreams and ambitions is the only way to make sure that you are going to give your 100% in it. And that's something that I take with me, even when I'm just by myself, not when I'm trying to perform in front of others and not when I'm trying to show other people, my best characteristics or traits, but making sure that I am my number one fan. So
Mm.
just being my biggest advocate is something that I think is going to take me as far as I want it to go. So I think that's my top five, girl.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to add those to my playbook as well. Those are really strong. And yes, that was just about all of my questions. I wanted to close you out with what are you looking forward to most as you gear up? This is, like you said, like once in a lifetime opportunity,
Yeah.
being able to compete with a bunch of amazing, like talented women for this nationwide title.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. What are you looking forward to the most?
I am most excited about bringing New Jersey its first ever Miss USA title. In all of the years of the competition, we have placed quite high, but we've never captured the crown. So I have full confidence in myself, and I know that what I bring to the table is something that is unique and it is special and it is valuable. So just taking that mindset into the competition and knowing that being myself is more than enough, that's what I'm most looking forward to. And honestly, it's just an incredible opportunity because once you touch the Miss USA stage, that's it. You don't have an opportunity to do it anymore. So
Mhm.
just basking in the moment and relishing in the opportunity to wear New Jersey across my chest, you couldn't ask for anything more special.
Definitely. Well, Ivy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. This was a great conversation, learning more about
Yes.
you and your journey, your time at Morgan, and looking ahead for the Miss USA pageant. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Jordan, and many congratulations to such an incredible platform. It's so nice to just have somebody be just as excited about what I have going on personally and just you sharing it with your audience. So, so much luck to you in the future. I can't wait to see you on even bigger screens.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.